been an amazing period for historic sim racing. We started off with the superb NASCAR and DTM car sets for AMS2 and Race Run. And for me, this new edition blows all of that out of the water. Just a few days ago, the WSC and AC Legends teams released the newest version of their amazing Grand Touring and prototype car sets. This 1.3 edition brought updates to the existing cars, making them even closer to the original 1960s races. But way more excitingly, there's some amazing new arrivals. Some of them were short-lived races I've already had a look at separately. But today, I'm just excited to drive these cars. So to have a quick look at all of the new additions, I'm going to race them all and see what times I can set in these machines. And there's nowhere better to test these amazing historics than the home of historic racing, the 2.4 mile Goodwood circuit. So come with me and let's start a hot lap shootout. Okay, here we go, the first car. This is the 1966 Alpine A210. Making our way towards turn 1. Getting onto the second apex. I've driven this great mod by Panic and Co before, so if you want to know more about this car and its history, I already have a video for you. I've linked it in the description. But in short, it was a rolling development based upon the M60 series. It was never really challenging for outright success. Of course, this was before Alpine found its footing with Renault as a challenger to Porsche in the 70s. But it did get class wins at Le Mans. Down the Levant straight, powering through the gears, then braking heavily for Woodcote, into the chicane, close to hitting the wall, but we are through. That should be a 137. No surprise here, being the first car out, the Alpine A210 is at the top of the leaderboard. But with so many cars coming up, this will all change quite fast. Next up is the Porsche 904 GTS. This car is fun to drive. It's simple and a solid base, meaning that you can really push it and feel in control. It's also true in real life. It could take on hill climbs as well as it could take on the tracks. Ultimately, it was a great stepping stone for Porsche as they became competitive all around the world. Jumping over that curb into a bit of a drift. It's not my cleanest section. Doesn't stop me from enjoying the car though. Alright, down the back straight. Drifting into Woodcote, holding onto the car, into Paddock Bend, Make her through cleanly. Just about. That was a 1:29.9. Nearly a second ahead of the Alpine. The Porsche is really showing off its speed. Getting a bit loose just before the start of this lap in the Sunbeam Tiger. The 1967 car is quite a handful with its V8 engine. Just like the AC Cobra, this Sunbeam Tiger was another one of Carroll Shelby's transformations of a British car into a V8 powerhouse. While I had promise, it was seen at the time as the poor man's Cobra. Bit loose out of St Mary's. And Levant corner. Whilst the Cobra is one of the quintessential images of American racing, the Sunbeam Tiger was largely forgotten. Another power slide to show off. And that was a 1:29.58. Although it doesn't look like much, the Sunbeam Tiger has powered through to first place. Let's see what's up next. Say hello to the Brabham BT8. It's a nimble, smaller car. And almost half the weight of the Shelby Cobra. In period and in historic racing today, it fought the likes of Lotus 23s, but is able to punch far above its weight, winning at Alton Park outright against the far more powerful cars like the Lola T70. Although it doesn't look like it here, this is quite a hill, so the car can get a bit loose. A bit of a slide here. Sliding past that corner. Getting a good exit through the chicane. And that's a 1:27.3. Blowing the rest of the cars out of the water, the Brabham is now on top. And here's the Goliath, the Shelby Cobra 427 SC, either meaning semi or street competition, it was a road-going production car, and quite a step up from the 289 model. Despite its weight, it has some seriously fast acceleration. The main goal is just to survive in this car. Just about keeping control through the dip. Bouncing off the curb, unsettling the car here. But even when sliding, this car accelerates so fast. Nicely through here. And that's a 1:26.9. Unsurprisingly, the Shelby Cobra is fast, pushing the Brabham down to P2. And now we have a far more refined car. This is the 1962 Aston Martin DB4 GT Zagato. It's quite a long name. You can really feel it's one of the older cars in this set. You have to persuade the car to turn, but also persuade it to not turn too much. You need a careful balance in this machine. The DB4 started racing in 1960, doing okay but up against stiff competition by Jaguar and Ferrari. It used the coach builder Zagato to help make the car lighter, the same people that helped Alfa Romeo with its Giulia TZ, Z for Zagato. It did help Aston Martin, but the Brits couldn't respond to the 250 or the E-Type machines. But what a beautiful looking car this DB4 is. That was a 131.9. The Aston Martin DB4, definitely the slowest car so far, and by quite a margin. Despite that, I love it. Moving on to the Alpine A211. After just driving the Aston Martin, it feels lightning fast. And it was so much faster than its previous A210 as well. It is slightly heavier, but that added weight has doubled the brake horsepower and doubled the engine size all the way to 3 litres. In period, its engine caused massive vibrations, causing instability at higher speed. And compared to its competitors, it was underpowered. Ultimately, it's more known as a stopgap for Alpine. But again, this model is a lovely representation. This car set is so much fun, and it just looks so good. Just about in control. And that was a 125.9. That puts the Alpine firmly ahead of everyone else so far. From Alpine Blue to Ferrari Red. This is the 1966 Ferrari 330 P3 with its Berlinetta roof. I'm fighting for my life around these corners, but I'm loving it. It was the next step up from the P2 design. It was lighter and faster, but keeping that lovely V12 sound. It took victories at Spa and Monza, but ultimately it couldn't match Ford's pace and reliability. Okay, just need to survive this lap. We have just achieved a 125.91. That's just beating out the Alpine here. And what a totally different car to drive now. This is the Ginetta G10. It's a great fun car, and one of the surprises of this new collection. Powered by a Ford V8, it was British made, but really focused on the American market. It won on debut at Brands Hatch, but ultimately it had a very short moment in the sun, replaced by later Ginetta models, and surpassed by MGs and other Grand Touring cars. Oh, just holding on. Okay, that was a rough lap. Could definitely go faster. Ooh, just holding on. Yikes. Okay, that was a 129.4. Whilst we're definitely faster than the Aston, we are stuck in P5. This is the 1966 Toyota 311S, based upon the 2000 GT Toyota, which is also in the prior Touring Car Legends mod pack. This new 311S aimed to be faster and lighter than its predecessor, and it did achieve this, shedding 200 kilograms and gaining about 30 kilometers an hour. Carroll Shelby again took on this car in the States, but the Toyota did most of its winning at home in Japan. For me, the car feels a bit boaty. It's a nice addition, especially as there are so many other European and American cars, but I don't find it as exciting to drive. Then again, there's such a high bar with this pack. There are so many great cars to have a go at. Curb hopping through Woodcote. But cleanly through here. Coming to the line, that's a 1:30.6. I'm quite happy with that time for this car. But that only puts us in 8th here, ahead of the Alpine, but not close enough to the Porsche. We now move on to the Porsche 906 LH. This long-tail prototype had a very short track life, only racing from 1966 to 67. There were only ever 3 long-tail Porsches. One of them was even fashioned into a hill climb racer, until it had quite a big crash. It was a fast car, but a very dangerous one. But with risks came great rewards. It was first, second and third in class at Le Mans in 1966. And then in Hockenheim, it took every single podium spot. It had some serious issues: engine overheating, added weight, and its long tail caused lift to high speeds. But the Porsche 906 shone brightly as it raced. Braking hard for the corner. Through Woodcote. Into the paddock bend. Up through the gears. And that's a 1:30.2. So that puts the car in 8th position, right next to another Porsche, and ahead of the Toyota. Up next is the Alfa Romeo Giulia TZ from 1963. Going round T1. Nicely through Ford Water. Dancing into St. Mary's. Alfa Romeo had to work hard to make this car successful. While it was pretty good on fuel, helping in endurance races, Thanks to the TZ's tubular frame and clever suspension work, it was very successful in the 1.6 litre class at tracks all over the world, from Bridgehampton to Le Mans. Like the Toyota, for me it's not the most exciting car in the set, but I'm happy it's here. An inventive line through here. Through the last corners. Not the best exit, but we make it out. And get a 131.4. That's not the best time, but at least we're not last. This is the Ferrari 365 P2. The Ferrari P2 prototypes were a series of very fast and increasingly aerodynamic machines. The Italians were very successful all over Europe, winning at the Targa Florio, at the Nürburgring, Monza and Reims. 4 massive races. It's a very fast and very fun car, but needing a bit more traction. Can't stay in a straight line. I will note that with this pack, the mirror in the middle isn't working, but in spite of that, it's a lovely, fun car. Just because of the pace of development, the P2 was quickly replaced by the P3. If I was able to control this car a bit more, I could definitely be faster here. But regardless, that was a 125.3. That puts this Ferrari well above everyone else in P1, with 6/10 to the next competitor. Starting the lap, we have the 8-cylinder version of the Porsche 910/8. It's a really solid car. It was a fast car, but not too snappy or overpowerful. Also, it was shorter and lighter than the 906 design it was built upon, and faster at pit stops thanks to just having a single wheel nut. It even had F1 tyres, but needed smaller and therefore worse brakes to deal with that. It mainly raced and then beat the Dino 206P cars. And it did very well at the Targa Florio, Nürburgring and Mugello. But like so many before, it had a very short moment in history. This is feeling like a good lap. Shouldn't speak too soon though. Tricky through Woodcote. Bit too fast here, but we make it onto the start finish. That was a 123.8. That's the best time so far. A second and a half ahead of the Ferrari. Can anything beat it? Okay, this is the last car, the last chance to beat this Porsche. Say hello to the Chaparral 2D427 CI. Quite a catchy name. This is the faster of the two versions in this pack. I've driven the slower 2-geared 327 CI before, where I told the story of the surprise American victory around the Nürburgring. This version has one more gear, all the way up to 3. This 427 is a fierce machine to drive, with its bigger engine. You have to get used to having just 3 gears, with a careful throttle controlling its V8 engine. Ultimately, this Chaparral wasn't that successful, and its sister 2E and 2F models are far more recognisable with their massive wings above the cars. But this is still a lovely thing to look at and to drive. Okay, for the final time, going to second gear here. Through paddock bend. Charging to the line. And that's it, that's all I can do. Let's look at the leaderboard. Okay, after 15 cars took on the Goodwood circuit, it all comes down to this. In 15th place is the Aston Martin, with a 131.9. No surprise there really. But ahead of him is the Alfa Romeo, and then a big step up is the Alpine A210, the Toyota and the Porsche 906. From there it's the Porsche 904, the Sunbeam and Ginetta, all within the 1 minute 29 second range. After that, then it's one of my favourites, the Brabham BT8 and the tricky Shelby Cobra. In the top 5, it's the Alpine A211, which was so close to the Ferrari 330 P3, just 100th behind it. Then the top 3 is the Ferrari P2 365, the Porsche 910, and the fastest of all, the Chaparral 2D 427, with a 122.5. This has been so much fun. A massive thank you to Bazza, Panic, Pasta, and everybody else. You've all done amazing work bringing these back to life. From how it feels to how it looks with real liveries. There's no group that does vintage racing better. You all have been teasing the late 60s car pack. I'm excited to see that in the future. But I've got a lot of fun in front of me with these superb historics. Just a quick note. I'm so amazed by how much you all enjoyed the NASCAR video, so thanks for tuning in, and for all of your comments, from sharing tips to your general motorsport excitement. I'm almost finished with my next video, and I'm excited to share that with you very soon. But until then, thanks for watching. I've been Historic Sim Racing, and I'll see you next time.